Alright, we've got a couple packages to go through. This one is kind of the funny first one because it feels like there's almost nothing in it. Which makes me think this was just used to package like one DVD or something like that. Technically maybe one Blu-ray. Let's see what it is. Oh, I see two of them. Let's get this one next. Because this is the last one I would need to use the scissors on. What is that? Oh, yes. And then last but not least, we have one of these, which, you know, just requires that. Bam. Okay. So this is your standard end of the month thing where Discotheque Eastern Star releases a lot of stuff that's been released before, but it's on Blu-ray. So we've got Maid May here. I was going to say, is this a 90s classic? It definitely feels like something like that. Although, I don't know if it's actually classic, but it's a thing. Will USB mine? I say region A. Let's see an English dub. 220 minutes. Not sure if it's 90s or if it's really turn of the millennium. I'm trying to remember. It's been so long since I've watched it. Point, I'd almost wonder if I didn't watch it, but there it is. I do remember that the DVD version, at least the fourth disc, is a CD that you can plug into your computer and has actual files on it, which is a little strange, I think. Oh, look, it's Puss N Boots. But not The Last Wish. This is the anime Puss N Boots. This one's older. It could be 80s, maybe even 70s. I'm wondering. I don't think I've ever seen it, but just thinking based on the character design. Region A, English dub. 69-minute, one movie on disc. 1976. So probably made in 1976. Okay, I like the slipcover better. It's always nice when the slipcover and the undercover differ. Good. We've got Pokemon, the Arceus Chronicles, and was this not also released on Blu-ray? I'm going to have to double check on this one. I wonder what I should do. Not sure if there's anything worth watching there. Oh, more plastic. This is a pretty funky feeling plastic. But, oh well. It's open. Pokemon, the Pokemon. Heat train. He looks kind of like he's smiling there, doesn't he? Well, we've got that. We've got chilling in my 30s after getting fired from the Demon King's army. Paid off to better off. Regions A and B, that's good to know. People wanting to import this have that option. Japanese with English subtitles. I couldn't remember if this had been subtitled or not. Okay, yeah, now I'm remembering some of the characters. It was a pleasant series. I'm trying to think if there was anything about it that stood out as, oh yes, really, really awesome. I think it had its neat moments at least. Why does it feel like I am? There's a little bit of plastic right there. How annoying. Oh well. Remember some of these characters. Now it's not lined up perfectly there anymore. Let's see. Maybe like that. Yeah, that's feeling a bit better. We also have I've somehow gotten stronger from farm-related skills. That's when I improved my farm-related skills. Yeah. Doof. And I never did finish this one. I think the problem with this one was the fundamental premise was good, but then it was like, I guess the things the main character was doing didn't feel very farming related. More like a nod to it. Region A, English dub. It might be fine, but I don't know. Again, I never finished it. Maybe there were more problems with it. I'm not remembering. I don't know. We got Dual Parallel Trouble Adventures on Blu-ray. Double your dimension, double your fun. Well, that's annoying. Still a lot of plastic to get off of this thing. Let's go. Trying to decide. Yeah, that's just. It's not. Yeah, I think you can kind of see it's got some weird, but that just seems to be like a manufacturing defect. Nothing too bad. Region A, English, and yeah, so dub and sub. Different underneath this. Sorry, I keep not reading this. This is all 14 episodes in standard definition, which I think kind of makes sense. This was, I think, I'm wondering if this could have been one of those turn of the millennium shows that don't really benefit that much from upscaling. Because everything was done digitally but at a lower resolution, so yeah. Anyways, then last but not least we have Rainbow something. I guess just Rainbow? I guess just Rainbow. Did I look at the back? I looked at the side. Japanese with English subtitles, region A only. 500 and so it's quite a bit of stuff. On 2 Blu-rays. Not sure if I know much else about it based on it. It's definitely a cool rainbow. 2, 3, 4. Well, definitely a cool rainbowy colored name. But yeah, here we go. Here's this week's physical anime collection update. Alright, so let's see. Friday Friend, watched some more Jujutsu Kaisen. We only got 3 episodes in, so episodes 6 to 8. And entertaining enough stuff. Like, it's not like the show was bad, and I think at that point it was still feeling it was relevant and on topic. Maybe some side stuff that's like, I guess that's kind of interesting, and the characters They're nice. I wonder if I have much more thought. But I don't know. It was kind of an exhausting day on Sunday, and Saturday I had a lot of focus elsewhere. But let's see what I can remember anime-wise. Villainous Level 99, Episode 8. What happened in this episode? I guess a dragon. And it was kind of interesting watching it grow up because this was just an amusing observation. It grew up from a two-dimensional animated thing to a three-dimensional CGI thing. You know, it gained a dimension when it grew up. Kind of funny. Content-wise, I remember a bunch of amusing stuff happening. Don't remember if anything happened at the end of Episode 8. But overall, it was entertaining stuff. Gushing over Magical Girls, Episode 9. Like I mentioned the previous episode, I really liked some of the stuff they were doing and some of the directions they were hinting that the main character may start going. That would be like kind of neat, and they didn't quite lean into it as heavily as I would have thought, but they did head a little bit in that direction. I suppose there was a part of me that just wanted to see her completely dominate everybody. And it was just a question of how close to that she would be. And they're not doing that exactly, but they're definitely doing some interesting stuff, I guess. So, an okay Episode 9. And I can kind of see, as we're getting close to, like, the core or season finale, so, like, a lot of these shows, I should probably start thinking about that sort of stuff. They are definitely showing probably where this show is aiming for as it goes closer to its ending. It may be pretty decent. Classroom of the Elite, Season 3, Episode 9. Yeah, I think it'll be the Episode 9's when I'm going to see if I can start speculating, because, you know, that's about the 3/4 part. For a lot of these shows, that means there would only be like 3 episodes left, and so it's like, are they crescendoing in a good way? And Dr. Elise, let's see. No. Classroom of the Elite, Season 3, Episode 9. That's what I was on. I guess it was fine follow-up stuff from the previous episode. I'm trying to think if it feels like I can tell what this season is crescendoing on, maybe? But I'm not sure. I guess they're setting up that sort of thing. And we'll get to see what that means. Basically some direct confrontational sort of stuff, where Season 2 definitely had a great direct confrontational sort of thing. This one I don't see it being able to do the same thing, but I'm definitely curious to see what it's about to do. And then Dr. Elise, related with the Lamp, Episode 8. Okay, yeah. I guess some good development stuff. Yeah, mostly just some good development stuff. I don't think anything major story-wise that I can remember. Delicious in Dungeon, Episode 8. I think this episode is hitting a little less on the... So I mentioned this in the previous episode, and this episode kind of felt along those lines too, where it was hitting a little less strongly on the, oh, here's some clever ideas for food-related stuff going on. And instead more, there's some more heavy story-related stuff going on. But still some good, clever stuff going on. Things are just like, yeah, this actually doesn't feel like a repeat of stuff, so it doesn't feel like it's like One Trick Pony. It just kind of continues to be kind of clever and neat, but a little bit somber with some of the story stuff, maybe? I'm not sure if that's the right feeling. Oh well. And I think Delicious in Dungeon, it's supposed to be longer than a single course, so I'm not expecting that to necessarily feel like it's going to be getting to a finale, but it could be getting to a core moment. My instant death ability is so overpowered. Episode 9. I think mostly just more this show being interesting. Jesus, sorry about the yawn. Now y'all all have it too, sorry about that. I don't know, okay. If it's trying to lead to a finale, was it kind of suggesting something? It's hard to say. I guess there were a couple of moments in the episode where it seemed to like flash to side things where I think they're important, but I don't know, the timing doesn't feel quite right. It almost feels like random side things happening that are a bit of a distraction. But, you know, maybe the show itself has not quite had a story-related focus per se. So it's kind of something that feels natural in that sort of environment, but I don't know what else to say. Sasaki and Peeps, episode 9. Let's see, I guess more of that stuff continuing. What's been going on? That stuff. I'm not sure if any of it feels like it's leading up to a huge season or core finale of some sort. But it is kind of important stuff. It just feels like the timing for the important stuff would coincide with the ending of the show, I guess. But, you know, entertaining stuff. I think maybe one of the less entertaining episodes, but not bad. I like Sasaki, seeing him do stuff. There's something kind of nice about it. The Unwanted Undead Adventurer, episode 9. I think this was another good one. Some more good. I guess our character is doing not exactly side story stuff, but kind of close to it, like the previous episode. And it's actually kind of nice just seeing him there. I don't know if it's setting up something to happen. I'm not feeling that per se. But there is an interesting thing going on in that they did introduce another new character, and I'm not sure what to think about them. They don't seem immediately bad per se, but yeah. It's strange. I mean, I think I'd like them under certain circumstances. I just don't know if this show is perfect. But it feels like it's probably fine. An interesting enough episode. Ooh, Free Run Beyond the Journey's End, episode 25. So I guess we're not exactly sure what we saw. And here I am yawning again. Sorry about that, y'all. But I guess 25 is pretty close to 26 and end of the first core, or the second core, I mean, and I think it's about at the right place for it to be an interesting thing, because this was a pretty interesting episode. I'm not sure how to describe it without, like, spoiling stuff, but yeah. We've been kind of looking forward to this for a couple of episodes, I think, and I think it was quite nice. Maybe not like the most spectacularly animated battle in this show, because, you know, that one fight with a dragon is pretty fucking high up there. In fact, their budget is probably still in a weakened state from having done that, but I digress. Anyways, yeah, good episode. Wrong Way to Use Healing Magic, episode 9. You know, mixed feelings on the episode. It's kind of a good, fun, touchy story that happened, but like I kind of mentioned in the previous episode, while it's a very nice one, it's unfortunately, it feels like a little bit of a distraction, because at this point we're getting past episode 9 and it's leading to the big confrontation for this core season or series. But it's pretty much been, it's mostly him training for most of it. There's little elements of it that haven't been that, but now that they've used 2 entire episodes to kind of tell important backstory for Rose, it pretty much means, it's all important stuff, and I don't know, maybe it's been good lead up to this part, maybe it's only decent. I guess we'll have to find out. So again, mixed feelings. I think it was good content, but at the same time, a bit of a distraction content, but only a bit. It's probably the right kind of distraction. Oh well. The Weakest Tamer began a journey to pick up trash, episode 8. Just nice stuff continuing to happen. I think we still want to see the main character just kind of not exactly settle, but find comfort in the world, and I think we get to see that come in different ideas of, could this happen, will this happen, did this happen, etc. So episode 8 was the series continuing to be pleasant, also leaning towards other potentially interesting things. Guess we'll have to see what goes on after this. Solo Leveling, episode 8. Once again, this show's showing that weakness I said, where it would be a lot better binge watching it. This episode, it's a fine setup episode for hopefully what's about to happen next. You know, kind of a reunion of the characters from the very beginning of it, so that, you know, maybe the show's going to do something really awesome with all this stuff. Something really neat. Definitely looking forward to it, but it spent the entire episode kind of getting to that point of setting it up, setting up information, and a couple of side observations to other, was it Class A, Class S adventurers, hunters I think it was, and raising the very real question of, did they really need to show it here? It felt more like it padded the episode more than anything else. Some of it was important, relevant to things that were going on in the episode and introduced in the episode, but at the same time distracting from our main character, and our main character has a goal, and, you know, presumably at some point it's going to intersect with all that other stuff, but at the same time sometimes it feels like there's a good time, good place in order to do all that, and I don't know. It doesn't feel like the show has that completely nailed down, but it is still interesting and entertaining. Let me see. Strongest tanks, Labyrinth raids, a tank with a blah 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 blah. Episode 9. Entertaining enough battle, I suppose. I think that's most of this episode in a nutshell. Again, I guess I have little problems with this show. Things like, it kind of implies that the character was giving a lot of directions, when from our perspective, we mostly saw our main character just continuing to call out the things that needed to be done. But okay stuff, I suppose. Tales of Wedding Rings, episode 9. So this one broke my prediction in terms of how it seemed to be doing 2 episodes per Ring Maiden. This one seemed to be an episode to kind of take a small breather from that, not move on to stuff too quickly, so that it could establish that our main character is still primarily in love with the person he ran to the other world for, which is good because it means that the show is kind of staying within its theme, and I can't help but feel like it's also set things up so that the theme of the show is also relevant to that and tied into that, which would be good if they actually do that. So it's possible, and I did check in, I think it's only a 12-episode show according to the site I use for anime stuff, and if that's the case, it pretty much means, you know, 2 episodes for the next princess and then 1 more to resolve things, which could mean that the incident with this last princess is going to be related to things boiling over into the final confrontation. But I can't help but feel like it is possible, again, that they've themed things so that when things come out, the show feels comprehensive and well thought out. Give or take the fact that it also has some pretty explicit booby shots all over the place. But I think it's very possible it's going to be just completely respectable despite that, independent of that. So, you know, kind of looking forward to seeing how they wrap things up. Fluffy Paradise, episode 10. Yeah, I do think they're setting up for a major confrontation there, and hopefully we'll see a resolution to it. Not sure how much I think about some of the reasoning, but it's fine, I think. Was there some other stuff it was doing? I don't know. Fine enough stuff. Again, the show not falling completely victim to, oh, here's Fluffy, oh, here's Fluffy, oh, here's Fluffy. You know, that seemed to be an important element, but it has a story that it's building, so I appreciate that. Banished from the Heroes Party, Season 2, Episode 9. Yeah, I guess they're setting up for that big confrontation probably happening. Although the thing about that would be the most mysterious is, I guess if they are building up to that, then how would that relate to the other events that happened in the show? So it's interesting that it's kept things in in this season relevant longer than I would have thought. Like, I didn't think some of the early stuff that they were doing, I guess that's still somewhat notable, somewhat relevant, somewhat non-finalized, and so we would want to see what happens with all that. But it also feels like that's not where it can go in terms of what's going on. Unless it somehow manages to merge the two threads, the two main threads going on right now. I guess we'll have to see. 7th Time Loop, Episode 9. What happened? What happened? What happened? Pleasant, pleasant, pleasant. I would say a mostly pleasant episode. Maybe something happened at the very end. I don't know. One of the series I was watching had something happen at the very end. I just can't remember which one. But I don't think it was 7th Time Loop. But it could have been. Oh well. Anyways, I remember this as being mostly a pleasant episode. I'm not sure if I've got an idea of what it might be setting up for a potential core season or series finale. Fine stuff. Tsukimichi Moonlit Fantasy Season 2 Episode 9. This one, I guess we don't have to judge on season or core finale, because we know this season is a 2-core season. So I think it can be planned to go a bit longer than that. I guess it didn't turn out to be as confrontational as I would have thought, but it did feel like it was going to do that, and there's things to think about. But I guess this episode turned out to be kind of a continuation of the previous one, set up for the next one, possibly, sort of thing. Not the most exciting, but okay, I suppose. And then last but not least, there's the usual 'Tis Time for Torture Princess, Episode 9. And, once again, it kind of continuing to be just a nice, pleasant anime to end the anime watching week on. This one actually making me a little bit teary-eyed, just a little bit happy there. It's like, how precious. So, a nice episode 9. I like this. I like the series. I feel like it keeps me engaged in a very chill, pleasant way. So, liked it. So outside of that, is there anything else to talk about? It was a quadruple rift fragment weekend in Dead by Daylight, and so I ended up spending a lot more time on Saturday playing Dead by Daylight than normally I have the energy for. Which was fine because I didn't have anything else at the time. I mean, I do have, taxes to do, and I bought TurboTax. I don't know that that's a smart thing to do, but, whatever, I have that now, so I should just sit down and do my taxes. But Saturday it was like, well, I should try to take advantage of this Plus Rift Fragment weekend and just grind for stuff. So I was grinding for some Steam challenges that I hadn't done, just throwing a bunch of hatchets, throwing, downing people while they're intoxicated with a clown's tonic. What was the other one? Hitting people with Doctor's shock therapy attack. I got all 3 of those. So, things to note and things to think about. So yeah, I got all 3 of those and took a big chunk out of the riffs that I needed to do. But I don't know, Sunday I was just feeling out of it, and then I had a headache, and none of that happened. None of it's happened tonight because Monday nights are just too busy for actual Dead by Daylight. I might get some time in tomorrow. We'll have to see where my energy level's at. But, mostly I'm trying to make sure I'm preparing for next week's release of the next chapter, the next killer, with the next survivor too, of course. And yeah, she's a cute survivor. He's an interesting killer, very strange ability, and he looks very strange, and it's very strange. But he's not the Strange, he's the Unknown. I think it'll be a decent chapter. I don't think the Survivor perks are going to be that notable. They'd be more funny than anything else. But if we put that aside, yeah, I guess I'm just preparing for when they come out. I'm going to put blood points into them and, level them up to 3 and then continue putting blood points into Michael Myers. Is there anything else to mention? Oh, that fucking Venusaur. Jesus, what an asshole. Maybe part of the problem is, unlike other people, I'm trying to get 2 games to get through all that stuff all at once. Because I've got 2 games and then I can catch 2 Venusaurs and get them. I'm kind of tempted to hold on to that Venusaur for a while because he's got some good Herba Mystica drops. But I would definitely want to find a more reliable solution for him. And maybe there are a couple of ideas. Maybe there are a couple of ideas. But I think with Blastoise coming up, we're kind of needing to think about that a bit. I'm a little worried, but I think we've got some Pokemon that should make things good. We'll just have to see how it all comes out in the end. In particular, I think we're expecting a Turn 0 Shell Smash, Rain Dance, and probably a Water Spout. He's just going to fucking hit everybody really fucking hard. Then for his moves, he's probably going to have Hydro Pump, Ice Beam, and Steel Cannon. Because he's a Steel Terra type. And after that point, I think it's a little bit up in the air. He could have a coverage option, or maybe he'll do something that kind of leans into that Steel typing, and maybe he'll just have Iron Defense, and it's like, oh, cool. Let's just attack him with special attacks. If that's the case, then he'll be pretty easy, because Water resists all 3 of those attacks. So there will definitely be Pokemon that should resist all those attacks, and even better, Vaporeon, who would be immune to that initial Water Spout. So maybe that would be the core for something. I do have another weird idea in mind, which would be looking to take advantage of the fact that I think at one point a couple years ago we were observing that when really low-level Pokemon faint, barely any time gets removed from the timer. And I was wondering if it would be possible to build a support Pokemon that's like level 2. If they're level 1, they still eat as much as the level 100, but level 2, barely any time lost. And if that's the case, then maybe a support Pokemon could actually help there. A level 2, like Shroodle or something like that, with Trickster, Parting Shot, let's see, Sunny Day, Light Screen, maybe something else. Oof, excuse me. Maybe something else. You'll basically want something that you can use to help your teammates once the shield goes up. I'll have to see if I can do something with that. But I'm not in too much of a rush. I played around with it before with something that's like, oh yeah, I can't really do anything. But as a support mon, it may be able to do something. And it's especially good if it can do something for its allies. So, I'll be taking a look into that. Not sure what else I have to say about that, though. So I guess... yeah. I guess that's thoughts. Yeah, that's thoughts. Y'all, have a nice week.